Hello, it's Adedoyin Jaiyesimi here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So before I go into the topic of today, which is all about building your communications competency profile, and if you're like, hey Adedoyin, you have come again, what exactly is that? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you all about it. Before I tell you all about it though, I want to specially invite young communications professionals who are based in Lagos and who would like an opportunity to attend a private mentorship session with me. This event is happening on the 1st of October, which is a Tuesday, and it's going to be a day of me just sharing from my journey as always, answering your career questions. And if you attended any of the 3 that I did last year, you know that it was for me, shall let me just say, it was really valuable, a great learning and networking experience. And even the feedback that I got from the people who attended, I know that it was time well spent. But I've put a slight twist for this edition happening in October. I've invited 3 colleagues in the industry who would also be joining me to have breakout roundtables where they would also be sharing career advice and insights and lessons from their own journey. So if you're in Lagos, you definitely do not want to miss this. So I look forward to hosting. It's open to 30 professionals. Yes, I forgot to add that. And I'm looking forward to seeing as many of you there as possible. I really do like these physical events because I get to also learn from your journey as you also learn from me. And then my colleagues that I'm inviting, don't worry, I'll reveal their names very soon. I will share details of how to register in the description of this video. There is a link. Start signing up. People have already started signing up and paying. Once the 30 slots are filled, I'm going to close out the registration form. Okay, enough about talking about this event. Let's go into the topic of today, which, as I said before, is building your communications competency profile. Welcome to the topic of today, which is building your communications competency profile. So I was going through LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and I saw one of my favorite mentors in this field, Mrs. Shola Abulu, and she had done a post on LinkedIn sharing on, and I'm going to show it to you. I did a screenshot of it, sharing on the different competency areas, and she mapped out her skill level in terms of being a generalist or specialist in certain areas, and then broke it down in terms of knowledge, their skill and mastery. And I just thought, wow, this is really fantastic, because people often ask me, oh, what do I need to know or learn to grow as a communications professional? And one of the things that I always say, especially for those of you who want to get to the very top of this career, is you need to be aware of the competency areas that are important for you to know. And then you need to be able to gain mastery in certain areas, because look, you're not going to become a trusted advisor or get to the top of this career ladder if you do not have mastery of strategic communications. Forget it. If you are still operating on that tactical level, there's only so far that you can go. So there are certain things that you will need to master. And I love the way she made it very visual, because it also helps you to know, okay, what am I really good at now? What are the things that I have knowledge in? What are the things that, okay, I'll need to build mastery in? So for example, if you want to go into health communications, for example, and that's something that you want to become a specialist in, then you know that you need to become, or you need to have mastery in health communication. So if you are still at the knowledge level in terms of health communications, you need to be asking yourself, how do I close this skill gap? How do I improve my expertise in this area? And it comes from 2 things. It comes from actually having the knowledge. You see, there's only so far winging it will take you as a communications professional. And I like how Essay says it, Shola Abulu, I call her Essay. I like how she says it, that look, there's an art and a science to communication, right? If you do not understand the science, if you do not understand the principles, if you do not understand the frameworks and the thinking, honestly, like, there's a limit to which you can deliver certain results. And I've seen it. I've been training now actively for over a year, and I see the difference when people have that understanding of the principles, understanding of the frameworks, understanding of the science, and how they are able to now use that with the creative side, which is the art of communication. It drastically and dramatically changes the results that they're able to deliver. So before I show you what her competency profile looks like, I just thought, let me break down some of the competence areas in communications. Now, I know that this is a lot. In fact, there's still some other things that I could have put here, but I think that for most people, this is what it looks like. So, the health communications, like I said before, I didn't put it here because that's highly specialist. Financial communication, you're only going to need that if you say, look, I want to specialize in the finance sector, banking sector. Then obviously you need mastery or at least a very high skill level in financial communication. That may not be useful for those of you that, for example, you want to be in development communication. But broadly, these are some of the competency areas. And again, I got them from the profile that Mrs. Shola Abulu did. I didn't put everything. Some of them were, and I will show you in the next slide. But anyway, here we go. We have strategic communications, external communications, internal communications, digital communications, issues and crisis management, creative writing, media relations, social media strategy, content. See, comms people, we do a lot of work, and honestly, if we can just appreciate the level of skill that we need to develop and become experts at what we do and articulate and show the results based on this skill level, there's absolutely no reason why any organization should be taking a communications professional for granted. And another thing that I want to highlight here is that there are a lot of things to know in communications, and it's not right that, and I will keep preaching this thing till changes come, that only one person will be managing communications for an entire organization. And look at these different skill areas. Even me, that I have mastery of a number of competency areas, I can't be the only person handling strategic communication. And I'm also doing visual communication. And I'm also doing creative writing. Something has to give at some point, because strategy revolves deep thinking, that if I'm bogged down doing tactical activities, I will not have time to be able to think strategically to even deliver the results the organization has. But maybe that should be another video. But I'm just saying that to say, look, there are a lot of things you need to know as a comms professional, and there are a lot of things you need to succeed in your role. So just that awareness of the competency level, awareness of even the skills that you need to have within your team is also very important. So don't even just look at this from your own perspective. Look at it in my team. So if you manage a team, for example, you're a team lead, are these skills, are these competency areas, are they currently reflected in your team? If they are not, then you need to begin to close the skill gaps. Either you are upskilling your current team, or if you're only like one or two people, you need to hire more people that have strength in different skill areas, because that is what is going to help you deliver results as a team. So this is what SA's profile looks like, and I really love it. So you can see there on the top here you have generalist, and then specialist, knowledge, skilled, and mastery. And I'm going to define some of these terminologies. She actually did define some of them, so I just pulled out those definitions, and then I will just talk you through them. So you can see the skills. So these here in blue are the areas where she has mastery in, like she has specialist knowledge. And when you have specialist knowledge, it means you have deep knowledge of those areas. Issues and crisis management, I can attest to that. I've attended a class that SA did on issues and crisis management. And let me just say here, please follow Shola Abulu on LinkedIn. Please register for her one-day CPDSO courses. I've done 2 now. I was hoping to do 3, but one of them got cancelled. Everything that SA is selling and teaching, me, I just want to be there, because she has such a deep wealth of knowledge in this thing, and she's done it for almost 3 decades. So if you're not following her, please follow her on LinkedIn. She has a strategic communications course coming. It's a 1-day course. It's very valuable. I did it at the beginning. Was it at the beginning of the year or last year? I think I did it last year, and I learned a lot. There were frameworks that I learned, and this is another thing I want to talk to you about. Comms people, let us stop this addiction to templates so that we can master the frameworks. But I'll do another video to explain why, because I've realized that this template attitude is not helping us to deliver the right results. It's not even helping us to think deeply. But anyway, before I digress too much, so She has mastery in issues and crisis management, reputation management, brand strategy. I attended her brand strategy class a few weeks ago, communications project management, multi-sector communication strategy and frameworks, stakeholder management, Christian communication for all ages, change communications, websites, online social media strategy. Then you can see these middle areas where she's growing in her mastery. So that's business leadership, employee engagement, communication research, survey insights and data, organizational effectiveness and strategy. So you will notice that I didn't put this in the competency area because they're leaning to more business. Same thing with business leadership, but she has an MBA, so I can understand why that's something that will feature in her competency profile. And then you have development communications here, which, she's moving from knowledge into skill. Now, obviously, there's really nothing that she's just has knowledge of because of the years of experience that she has. But for some of you, depending on what level you are, you're probably going to have a lot of things in this section. It may be a number of things here, fewer things here, but remember, don't compare your chapter number 2 to somebody else's chapter number 10. And in this case, remember, this is a professional that has had or that has close to 3 decades of experience. So her profile has to look like this for a reason. So I'm going to show you, because I did it from myself, because I really do want you to do this and create your competency profile, which is why I'm doing this video. But I thought that it would be important to really explain the terminologies. Now, I called this from her LinkedIn page because she went on to explain what the terminologies mean. And the first is knowledge. What is knowledge? It's that you have awareness of basic concepts and principles, and you're able to deliver on that thing with minimal supervision. So, for example, social media strategy, you understand LinkedIn, you understand TikTok, you understand Instagram, you understand the algorithms, you understand how to create the content, and you still need supervision, right? But the idea is you don't need so much supervision or hand holding. If there's something that you still need hand holding, you still need direction for, that one, just note it as you have, like, it's a basic knowledge. You have to grow, because the idea is you want to get to a point where you need minimal supervision, especially when you're starting out. Now, when you now get to skilled, that means that you not only have that knowledge, so you can see the difference. You, in the knowledge side, it's awareness, but this one, you actually have knowledge. It's not that I just know. You have the knowledge of the basic concepts and principles, and you're able to apply it with measurable results and no supervision. So in your knowledge phase, you kind of know, so you'll be the kind of person that you're just creating content on social media. You're not really sure, in terms of how this ties into the organizational objective. You just know, okay, we've posted, oh, this thing got 200 views, oh, we got new followers, and that's where it's at. That's not bad, but there's another layer. How does this tie into what your organization wants to do? How is this going to help you deliver the measurable results that you want to see? And that's where you become skilled. And you're able to work with cross-functional teams, manage resources, and influence upwards. So I always interact with young professionals, and I know one of the things that comes up is, oh, my boss doesn't listen, my boss doesn't do this. You really have to build the skill and competence of influence. Now, I didn't put it because it's generally not a competency area, but you have to master influence. How do you influence up? How do you influence across? And how do you influence down? And then you can initiate strategy at a high level and work with others to implement it and to see measurable results. That's when you know that, yes, I am skilled at this thing. Then mastery, that's like, yes, like you have the ability to lead on. You can see here, agenda setting and transformation initiatives. They cannot do certain things without you being in the room. You're the one even setting the pace. You're the one looking at the trends, looking at the context, and you're the one telling them that this is the way we should go. Because of the knowledge and the skills you have, you're able to advise business, political, institutional leaders with game-changing results and outcomes. You're able to solve complex problems. So you're not just saying, oh, let's post on social media, let's do this campaign. It is like high-level thinking. You're thinking about the organization. You're thinking about the business results. You're thinking about the organizational impact and outcomes, and you're able to create strategies. You can
leverage resources. So you're not just spending money as a communications professional, you're able to create new value drivers that brings in some sort of revenue or saves the organization money. That's when you are using your competency at a level of mastery, and you can manage complex issues, crises, and ensure mission fulfillment as intended. Now, the truth is, it will actually take you some time to build mastery, which is why I was saying to you, don't compare your chapter 3 with somebody else's chapter 10. Mastery comes with you. So you have to start from knowledge. You have to start from even being aware, knowing. Then you build your knowledge. Then you use the thing that you know over and over and over and over again. Then you gain mastery. The more you use it, the more you use it in different contexts, different scenarios. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. You apply yourself, you're constantly improving yourself. That's when you go into mastery. You can't just be in your first year or second year and think you have mastery in something. No, best you can have the skill, a high skill level, but not mastery. Mastery actually does take time. And then you have the generalists and specialists. This is also a frequently asked question. And I like this I got from Michael Page. It says a generalist knows something about everything, but not everything about something. So I know about data analysis. I know about storytelling. I know about development comms. I know about strategic comms. So it's broad. It's that whole jack of all trades vibe. So there's a broad scope of knowledge within the industry or across disciplines, but generalists don't dive deep into subjects as the way specialists would, but you know it. So there are things that I have knowledge of as a generalist. They're not things that I have specialist knowledge, but I am aware of them, and it's needed, especially if you want to work and succeed as a communications consultant that advises organizations across different sectors and industries. You need to have generalist knowledge of certain things, and then a specialist knows everything about something with in-depth knowledge. So if it's crisis communication, in and out, you know everything, your crisis simulation, crisis response, how to create crisis communications plan, advising on how to create crisis comms teams, all of like end to end. You know the principles, you know what to do. Like it is a deep knowledge, and that again comes with time in terms of investing in the actual knowledge, gaining the information, the knowledge, so sometimes you may need to go to school. You may have a diploma in crisis communication. CIPR actually does offer that. And then you now have the experience, the training, hands-on training and implementation of this thing. So it's deep, like very, very deep. But this is someone that doesn't know everything in a defined field. So a specialist in crisis communication, the person may have no clue about internal communications. I know communications professionals that they can't do internal communications. They don't even understand what it's all about, right? So those are the differences. And so if you're a specialist, you have a very high skill level or expertise within the competency areas, and you're often a subject matter expert because you have a deep understanding of the area of focus. You say, Adedoyin, which one is best? I don't know. It's really, what is your goal? Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? Okay, so now let me develop my own competency profile using the skill areas that I identified at the beginning. And this is what mine looks like. So I'm also going to share. So I created this because I wanted to create something that, because I really want you to do this. So I decided to create this, which you can work with after the class. But here's what mine looks like, right? The places in red, those are the places where I have mastery. So you can see strategic communications is there at the top. Yes. Creative writing. I started out as a writer. Stakeholder management, impact storytelling, communication project management. And what does that mean? There's a project, there's a conference, for example, an end-to-end, or maybe it's an investor event. You're able to manage, coordinate things, vendors, coordinate the comms aspect. You're able to just project manage really this brief or this activity. And, I remember I was in a class one time, I was saying, and someone was like, so we also have to learn project management. I was like, yeah, especially if your organization does a lot of events, stakeholder events, you're going to have to learn project management because it's going to be left to you to put together those events. And project management skills actually does help. And I've done that so many times in the course of my almost 13-year career in communications, reputation management, executive communication, and brand strategy. Now, the one that I put in green here, this is the one that I am developing mastery in. And I put digital communications here because I do have the knowledge, I do have the skill and all of that, but because of how things are always changing, how fast paced it is, it's something that gradually, like it's in the middle. It's not, I won't say it's mastery yet, but it's definitely skill because I've done this like, over how many years and or content creation. Same communication research is something that I'm actively learning. I've improved my skills significantly, but I know that there's still more things to learn. So I'm edging towards mastery with that. Public sector communications, I'm moving from knowledge into skills, but it's not yet there. So which is why I put that at the intersection. So you have to decide, okay, I have knowledge about it, but my skill level is increasing. So it's not exactly in knowledge. I'm going into skilled. So you decide. And then in skilled, you have internal communications, marketing communication, social media mastery, issues and crisis management, change communication, visual communication, media relations, development communication, communication measurement. I'm working actively towards moving communication measurement into mastery because again, this is an evolving field. I'm learning a lot. I want to be able to implement what I know over a period of time to say yes, I have mastery in this thing. And then policy communication, that's under knowledge. For me, I'm building my knowledge. I have awareness of certain things, but then I need to really build it and build skill in that as well. So this is what mine looks like. So like I said, I'm going to share a link in the description. Use this table and map out yours. Now, obviously, we've done this and you're like, okay, so what next? Celebrate yourself for what you actually know. Because like I said, for some of you, maybe the bulk of this is going to be here and then you have fewer things here and that's okay. Remember, we're all on a journey. I'm going to year 13. So obviously, if you're in year 3 or year 4, you can't know the things that I know. And there's some things that, so for example, social media strategy, you might actually be in mastery because depending on the kind of work you've done, your interest in social media, you might actually have mastery of social media in year 4. I don't have it. So don't compare in that way. Celebrate yourself for what you already know. But what you need to do is look at your career goals and look at the expectations of your role. Identify the areas where you need to build competency. So for example, if I've been engaged in a public sector organization or organization that is heavy on policy communication, I had better move this knowledge, policy comes from knowledge to skilled because I need it for my role. At the very least, it needs to be skilled. To be able to deliver the results that you want to see, you need to aim for skilled and then decide on the things you want to get mastery in. Internal communications, over the years, I really do want this to come into mastery. Right now my skill, I have very high skill. In fact, to be honest, I think I could have even put internal communications at the intersection because I actually help teams to develop their internal communications skills using certain frameworks and all of that. And then once you do that, you then create a plan to move from knowledge to skilled or mastery. It's not everything you need to have mastery of. Personally, I'm aiming for mastery because I really want to be a thought leader within the communications industry, not just in Africa, but globally. So I really want to master those things. And I also want to see, there's something that comes with mastery. When you're a master at what you're doing, all these organizations, the leaders, with these complaints I get, you will not be getting it because you know your stuff to the T. But there is a price and a sacrifice for mastery. So if you are aiming for mastery, please be ready to pay that price. And what is the price? The price in actually seeking for the knowledge, the price in actually practicing and applying yourself, giving yourself to that deep work that is required. And you would find that by the time you get into mastery, you're not being questioned unnecessarily because you know your stuff, you're delivering measurable results. So you cannot build mastery in everything. I don't think it's possible. Should I say I don't think it's possible? It requires a lot of work. Mastery requires a lot of hours studying, hours getting information, hours strategizing, hours thinking. How many of these things do you want to do that for? So pick the areas and then say, okay, I will build mastery. And remember, this is me having built mastery over a period of time. So you cannot come and say in 1 year, I want to build mastery in 10 things. I'll have to tell you to rethink that. And then closing the competency gaps will require you to expand your knowledge and gain practical advice. So sometimes people ask me, oh, should I get a certification? Should I get practical experience in this, or you will need both at some point. The answer to that question will depend on where you are and what your next steps need to be. There's a point that having only head knowledge will get you to if you don't have the practical experience. And for those of you that you have practical experience, there's only also a certain point that you get to and you realize, I actually do need to know the principles and the frameworks behind this thing to get to certain levels. In fact, there are certain roles, high-level roles, that require, for example, a master's in communication, certain certification. So at some point, you're going to have to work on getting both. So make sure that you have a plan to close those competency gaps. Enroll for courses. I've told you about Shola Abulu's courses. Comms Avenue, we also have courses. What we finish for the year, our strategic communications course is for 6 weeks. That helps you to be grounded in strategic communications. There are also platforms like DevX or Agora, actually, where you can learn C4D, that's communications for development. The CIPR has training around the year, the IABC. So for example, I talked about communication measurement, and earlier in the week, I saw that the IABC, they're doing a training on communication measurement. I'm going to go and sign up because, again, I want to build mastery. So I want to learn from as many people that I can learn from. And as I go into that webinar, as I sign up, as I learn the things I learn from there, I'm going to practice it. I'm going to implement it, because you can't just be gathering knowledge. You must actually be practicing and be implementing it, right? So go for the degree programs if you need to. If you say, look, I can't afford a master's degree, the CIPR has diploma programs that you can sign up for. You can sign up for one-day courses and trainings. Read books. I shared the comms career cheat sheet that I released. Some of you, you've looked at it, but how many of those resources have you actually, maybe you've read, podcasts have you listened to? There's so many great podcasts that you just listen, and that's how you grow in your knowledge. You grow in the things that you know as a communicator, right? And then be part of relevant webinars and have a plan to become a certified communications professional. It really does make a difference, especially if you really want to get to the top of your career as a communications professional. So I hope that you found this helpful, and most importantly, I hope that you will create your communications competency profile. And just to wrap up, again, if you're in Lagos, please join me in October for this private mentorship session, which is happening on the 1st of October by 10 a.m. This is the link to sign up, bit.ly/session with Adedoyin. You will also be able to click the link in the description of this video. It's open to 30 young professionals, and yeah, we're going to have an absolutely great time. And I also just want to say, actually, that if you create yours, or you're confused about how to create your profile and you would like to talk to me about it, then you can book a session with me. I will put the link in the description. It's a 30-minute session, or it's a 20-minute session where we can just talk about it, and yeah, so that you can create yours. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next video. Bye.